It's only been between the three of us.
Yeah.
It's only coming out for the first time.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Benas, Banda, aka B Money, aka Mr. 50K. This is the 50K podcast. Joining me on the show this week is multi-award-winning singer and comedian Abel Chungu. Welcome to the show, brother.
It's good. I'm watching the switch up. I was like, wait, what? No, it's okay.
The car is rolling like, and then,
I know, right? No, that's professional. That's what being professional is. No, it's good to be here, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. It's been a while. Thank you for coming through, man.
No, thanks for inviting me, man. Thanks for inviting me. I'm here to be of service, to the country and the nation.
Exactly. What are you about Chungu saying?
Good evening, viewers.
Why do they even do that?
Oh, bro. It's a tradition. It's a long tradition. You can't break tradition.
You can't.
And that's people like, I don't like that guy. He didn't say good evening. Good evening, viewers.
Exactly. It happens to me all the time. But hey, Benas doesn't read. He doesn't like.
Bruh, I'm telling you. Hey, man. No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I first heard about you in 2012.
Okay.
So this was around the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yes.
Yeah, at the time when everybody was dropping Africa Cup songs, it's like we knew that we were going to win. We had the General Ozzy, Ben Blazer song. And then there was yours as well with the homies, Pompey, Tio.
Yeah.
And fast forward to now, 2025, you're still relevant. You're still the man. So the first question I'll ask is, how have you managed the longevity? What do you think is the secret? What's the formula to being at the top for that long?
First of all, it's the grace of God.
Yes.
It is the grace of God. Otherwise, hey, I also think, outside of just I feel like always I never feel like I've arrived. Mm-hmm. I've never felt like, there's always a place where people are like, oh, you're at the top. I'm like, nah, man. I always feel like there's always a place where someone is bigger than you. There's always a country where no one has ever heard of you. I travel a lot, so I experience that a lot. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a new environment where you're trying to break through, get to be known, sometimes your list of accomplishments don't matter. I always live with that mindset of, okay, I'm still I'm an upcoming artist, who's trying to push. Thank God I've gotten to a place where people have known me in Zambia, to a degree, but there's still just that place where people just don't know, right? And I can also never be too comfortable. I also try to recreate myself in terms of music. I like finding new sounds, listening to new music, new refreshing. So it's not like I never had a type of music that I got stuck in and I said this is me, and then I'm just trying to keep the same fans listening to the same style of music for years. Then you lose people eventually, and they'll never. And the thing is I always tell the Christian audience, they'll never tell you they're leaving. Yes.
They just
know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I feel like that's what I found. I learned it from the people that came before me, because for us it's different. Especially when you're a gospel artist, there is that thing of whereby people here in the world of what do they say, mainstream or secular, it's always oh no, you're hard, you're good, you're dope, what, right? Yes. And then if it's not it's competitive, right? But for us, it's oh, you're anointed, the grace of God is upon your life. Your success is the anointing, right? Oh, yeah. So the question is if people start feeling your music, is the anointing gone? You know what I'm saying? So people battle with that. Okay, God, what did I do wrong? And I'm just eventually I had to realize no, you really do need to make new music. You need to be more creative. God is a creative God, so you have to be creative. And so that's one of the things about, even with the new album I'm working on, it's centered on that, the part of the talents, the one with the kingdom of God. So the album is called Kingdom, but it's saying the ones who was given the talents and the one who managed to multiply it had a kingdom mentality. So that's how I've always just tried like, oh, if I can do comedy, well, let me try. If I can do this, then I'll try. Oh, you know, at least I've never tried Dunka. Let me try Dunka. You know what I'm saying?
You explore.
Like, yeah,
you keep
like
experimenting.
Yeah,
I mean,
bro,
like, who is anybody to stop you?
You know what I'm saying? If an acting gig shows up, hey,
Netflix,
try me.
HBO Max.
You know what I'm saying? Look,
Marvel.
you never know. You never know. You might be that guy that people have been waiting for. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be auditioning for a new Black Panther soon.
We're going to be waiting.
Just saying. Child had a cousin somewhere. Hey, man, we're Africans. We've got extended families. Why not?
Exactly.
Killmonger couldn't have been his only male cousin. Come on, bro. He must have been like a younger sister somewhere.
Hello. We're definitely going to be looking forward to the new album, Kingdom.
Yes.
Have you announced yet when it's going to be dropping?
No, man, every time I've
Can't.
tried to do that, there's always these setbacks.
That's the thing.
Yes.
So now you're going to be chasing a deadline. You say December.
I think when I finish it, I'll just sit in the studio and I'll cry.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost done. I know I'm almost done. There's a lot of things we're just tweaking.
Yes.
And it's just, I think I even know exactly what I'll do when I'm done with the album. Like I know exactly where I'll go and sit just so I can just be like, oh my goodness, I'm actually done with this album. But until that moment, my fans will just have to be like, some people are like, oh, not see that, it's not dropping here. I'm like, okay, you relax, we're coming.
No, that's not even true. I like what you mentioned to say where you have the mentality of like an upcoming artist wherever you go, regardless of where you go. And I remember we met in South Africa when I was still staying that time.
Yeah, oh my goodness, wow,
Yes.
yo.
That was 2019. You had a show there.
Yes.
You actually did like a stand-up routine before, and the
Yes.
crowd loved it. You killed it. The guys were in stitches.
Snap.
I don't think many people know this. I think I still have the footage somewhere. If I
Are
have
you
it,
serious?
I'll
Please
share.
send it to me.
Yeah, I
Yo.
will.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, and even the performance and the way the sound even came out, I was like, I've never heard this man's music sound this good. But obviously now our sound has got better.
Yes,
in Zambia. Like,
I'm
things
telling you,
have improved.
sometimes our sound kills us, man. People, you make these demands, they think you're a diva. Like, no, guys, I need my sound, chan.
Exactly.
Then someone brings you their cousin who has sound equipment. Bro.
You know what I mean? And I actually work at a school, so we usually do like a lot of events.
Yeah.
So there's this guy that they brought that was doing sound, and I remember posting in the group when one of these artists was performing. I was like, guys, this sound is horrendous. And they thought I was just hating. I was like, guys, like I've been to these concerts, you know what I mean? Like I went to Chris Brown, FNB, like guys, this sound that it's terrible.
You saw it for yourself. You saw it. Look, I remember those one Valentine's event I did at a very nice restaurant in Lusaka. So they packed out. It was super. That day I showed up for sound check. A week before I showed up, and I told them what I needed, given them my ride, and they said okay.
Yes.
Bro, I think they had booked, like, there was a sound man, and he had told them that he can do sound.
Yeah.
Bro, this Bali showed up with DJ equipment.
Oh man.
Now there's two different things. Like if you show up with a DJ deck, it's very different from a mixer and everything else.
Yes.
Bro, my sound check was supposed to be like 30 minutes, what? Bro, we're there for 3-4 hours, bro. To the point where people started walking in. Then I went home. After we finally managed, like, okay, we got some things working. I went home to change. By the time I get back, I hate the fact that I'm coming in because now that people can see I'm coming in, now I look like I'm late because I'm a diva. But I'm like, guys, I was here for too many hours. So now I walk in, and so I'm in the back room, and then my guitarist goes out to plug and get started. And he says, bro, I'm just like, he's not coming. I'm not hearing anything. Somehow between us going home to change and coming back, the sound just went.
It just got distorted.
Couldn't hear anything.
Oh my goodness.
You know what, the owner was even just like, the owner was actually really kind. They said, you know what, Abel, we don't mind if you cancel and you say you can't do this performance, because the only thing that was working now was like his DJ set, which means I had to do like instrumentals.
Yeah.
And they even said like, we don't mind. Like they didn't even said no money back, Shani. They just said like, we've paid and you can.
It's fine.
You understand
you can go
your
with the money,
professionalism.
even if you don't send us back the money. Like it's our fault.
Yeah, and I just said, okay, you know what? I'll just do some backtrack songs and, but like guys,
To not let down the fans.
yeah, that's all I did, man.
Ish.
Though the many were annoyed because it was like, it ended up being like 30 minutes instead of 2 hours. Like 30 minutes, try to do crowd engagement between each song because I only had like a few songs on backtrack. So it's those kind of experiences like on private events, and then there's big concerts, which,
Speaking of big concerts, you were quite vocal about one of the big festivals regarding booking fees when they call American artists compared to Zambian artists, and people in the comments were after you. What's your take on that?
Bro, even people I respect. No, Abel, you are. So let me tell you tell you the comment. So the comment. So here's what happened.
Yeah.
Let me even say, like, look, it's your podcast. Should I say it? The name and everything? Or just say there's a festival, elusive. Do you want me to say? So I say it. So it was a Stanbic music festival.
Yes.
And they brought in Neo. And Neo was excellent, like from what I heard. I didn't watch it. Neo's one of those guys I've loved for like years, man.
For sure.
And even if you saw footage of me doing Star Search, I actually went through because of one of his songs.
Oh.
Yeah, bro. Like that's how far back like I like Neo. So, but then I had a concert in Malawi, which was a stadium concert. It was myself, Kelke, and Arya Star.
Yes.
So I was booked in Malawi. I'm in my head, I'm having this great time here. In Malawi, I get off stage, I'm meeting Arya's managers, I'm meeting, Don Jazzy came through. And the love they're giving, like, man, who are you, man? Like, we love, like, we've never heard of you, we love the thing. So I'm feeling good as a Zambian, bro. I'm in that mode of like, man, if people just give us the opportunity to do what we can do,
Definitely.
Bro, then I go online and people are trashing the Zambian acts as compared to Neo.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, wait, what? And they're going at them. No, you guys need to up your standard. What Neo did was beyond Shanja. So I post up. I'm like, yo, if you paid me, because I actually just went online. So I don't know how much they paid him. I'm not saying the Stanbic paid him that much. But what I did is I went on Google and said, how much
the average
is Neo?
booking fee. Yes.
And it was $250,000. So I said, if you paid me $250,000,
you would definitely show up in 50 dancers, pyro.
Yo, your dog would get a show. Man, I don't know which angle people thought I was coming from, whether it was hate. No, you guys, you don't step up, don't shiny, able, don't think you're inferior. Those people who thought I was feeling like some type of way or jealous. And I'm like, nah, like that's not where it's coming from. For me, it was like, how dare you disrespect my friends when you have, the day you give Zambians the equal platform,
exactly,
right, and the equal opportunity is when you can now say we didn't get the equal outcome, right? Because look, festivals are like this. Every festival they have a budget based on, like festivals around the world that I know, they have a budget based on what do we give people that's different that we didn't give them last year, and we have to invest in that. So if our lineup is this person, this person, this person, this person, how do we make sure that Chef is seen in a way that he wasn't seen at Oktoberfest?
Oh yeah.
If Chef performed at Day of Banda, which likely he did before he also did Stanbic, because how many festivals do we have in Zambia? Let's be honest, right? Like major festivals, they're basically a handful. We can count them. Now, if I'm going to go to one festival and I saw their performance, which means what these festivals are doing saying is, what's your booking fee? So we're paying you for your performance.
Yes.
So the question is, what are we doing as our festival to enhance all these other things? So what the American artists or these foreign acts do is, in their budget, it's basically based around, they're already rehearsing, they've already been on tour, and they're doing this performance continuously everywhere around the world, right? So you are willing to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
For them to do something like that includes all these things that they want. But then when a Zambian act is there, and I'm not against saying that the Zambian acts were underpaid or anything. Everyone has their booking price, right?
Yeah.
But I generally feel there has to be a place that festivals in Zambia come to and say, we have to, out of pride for themselves, that they'll have to be like, how do we make sure that every performance is from till the very end?
Yes.
So even if they're going to bring in Martin Garrix, they'll create something during Martin Garrix's set.
Yeah.
Because the DJs they just stand in the booth.
Yeah.
But the question is, why do people go to these festivals, right? You're there, you're watching Afrojack play.
Yes.
But it's everything the festival has invested to make you engaged to the very end, such that you even feel like, oh my gosh, like Afrojack set. But meanwhile, all the guy was just saying,
he's just doing that. He's
doing
raising his hands.
DJs, blah, 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 blah. But everything happened with the fire, the balloons, the foam, the what. That's what, for me, I'm hoping festivals get to. Because otherwise, people will never, if it's going to be a showcase of Zambian talent or Zambian, thingy, I generally feel that's what festivals need to invest in. And so what I'm saying is, Neo gave us a performance because everywhere he goes around the world, there's a standard. They've seen, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's even told me like, what Neo did in Zambia wasn't even half as good as what he did in London or what, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's that kind of thing where people
that's
like,
possible actually.
why would they say that? Because they've seen a continuous standard. So the question is, if there's a standard, let's bring our Zambian artists to that standard as well. Let's help where we don't say, if someone says, oh, they're charging you 100,000, then you're like, no, we've got 40. And that's what happens a lot.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Like, we've got 40. Take it or leave it. There's someone else waiting. You know what I'm saying? Abel, if you don't do it, there's JC calling. You know what I'm saying?
Is ready to
you know
connect.
what I'm saying? And for me, it's not like, bro, Neo can do 10, 20 shows around the world with that level with that set.
Yes.
Let me ask you, after Stanbic Music Festival, Chef gave us one of the best performances ever, right? When's the next festival after that? Like, let's be honest. Like, when is the next? And I even said, I remember people even came at Maps and they're like, oh, Maps, hold on. I'm like, guys, and I said, I had this thing where I said, you know what, guys, like, let's be honest. Where's Maps performing every weekend? Right?
Yeah.
So he's got a club and another club and a club in Porokoso and a club in Kasama
really the big stages.
and then a club and then a festival and then another club and then another. But Neo is like Vegas, Atlantic City, what? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Places where they are demanding that level of performance every night. When these guys go on tour, bro, they're doing this show like, especially if they're on demand, you're seeing that same performance every night for like 3 months straight.
Yes.
Bruh!
That's difficult. I even wonder how they pull it off.
Yeah.
Because even the new like Chris Brown schedule that he's done, like the stadium tours for North America, Europe, like I'm even stressed just looking at the flyer. Say, how is he going to do the same 2-hour set 30 times?
Bro. This is when these ones cancel tours at exhaustion. You even understand and say, okay, you know what, boss? You're tired. You are tired, bro. I remember I was talking to some guys who recently came and they're like, bro, like it was Limo Blaze and Joe Barnes. And they're doing 3 months away from their families. Like they've been on tour. They were doing Nigeria, they're doing what? They were going to Azerbaijan, they were doing what? And I'm just like, for me, I'm like, that's the dream. But these guys are like, man, we're tired, man. I'm like, I haven't seen my wife in like 2 months.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So there are people like, that's a tiring thing. Like fans, meet and greet fans. Get on stage, perform, sing, get on stage, meet and greet fans. What? At some point, you do understand. you do understand that there's a place, but again, the level of experience that someone gets. That's why you find that Drake went on tour, came back at $44 million from a tour.
Exactly.
Bruh, there's a long way to go.
There's a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
And I feel like even the Zambian fans are hard on the Zambian artists. For me, when it comes to like festivals like Stanbic or Oktoberfest, for me it's more production and not the performance of the artists. And like you said, if the artists are given like their fair share of the money, obviously they'll have like the dancers as well. They'll know how to coordinate the sets, and they'll start recording live versions of their songs as well to perform at these events.
Look, Benas, I'll say this: we don't have an industry; we have a marketplace.
Oh man, that's
that's my brutal take on it. We don't have an industry; we have a marketplace. Marketplace, look, you can show up at Mateveto and everyone is dealing in the same thing, and even you when you said, no, that's the spot where they cook it nicely. It's just preference. You have a favorite, right?
Yeah.
That's a marketplace. Industry are the people that you distribution, the meat, whatnot, shine. It goes from you've got the cow on lockdown.
Oh, yes.
The guy who's grooming the cow knows that this is how much I make.
Yes.
By the time it gets to pay, right?
Yeah.
What we lack, bro, is an industry. So an industry, a strong industry is, and this is what my frustration is sometimes when it comes to even like corporate or government or people who don't understand that when you undermine the Zambian music industry and making it an industry, look, when there's money, you'll find Zaven will need a designer.
Yeah.
Then you scrutinize about her outfit because she realizes, hey, I need to invest in a designer.
Exactly.
So then the fashion industry
is going
that's
to improve.
benefit, right?
It's going to boom.
There's dancers because they realize, snap, there's a lot of music videos being shot. So even someone can open a production house of just dancers.
Yeah.
Right? Because you realize you need dancers all the time.
Exactly. Because people struggle. Because even my
Yeah.
uncle, I remember when I was in uni, he would ask me like, yo, do you know any nice girls that can feature in videos? When they're supposed to be agencies where like it's easily accessible. You just call like, yo, Abel, I need like 10 people, you give them their money, like they've got different rates, and then
You know
it
what I'm
becomes
saying?
like a whole...
And that's what everybody eats, man. And
Yeah.
and so, but what we're doing a lot, like I appreciate the fake it till we make it kind of thing. It's like when somebody tells me, oh, I'm a model. I'm like,
That's not affiliated.
that's it? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hate, but look, I'm doing the mathematical breakdown of somebody who's in the industry.
Yes.
I'm like, you model where? How often?
Yes.
Who is this? Are you on retainer anywhere? Like who's, no, I do music video. How many?
How many music
You know what I'm
videos are you
saying?
doing?
How much are they paying you for each
Are
music
you on
video?
billboards? Which
You know what I'm
billboards are you even
saying?
on? Yeah.
And so I'm like, I've been on a billboard and I know how much. I'm like, that's not sustainable. That's not like long term. You're not in an industry. If I bump into a girl in Milan and she goes, I'm a model, I'm like, yeah. I can see there's a system.
Yeah.
There's like that's supporting your lifestyle, right?
Exactly.
Even though sometimes even those places are fake it till you make it, but there is so much going on that basically you can even see why there's a need for dancers or makeup or different things and whatnot and thing. But for somebody to come and tell me that no, like to make it flat, like you can't sell me the flashiness. That's why for me, I sit back, I'm like, guys, even when people like, look, oh no, someone has bought this or different, I'm like, I feel like there's so much that we lie to people who are looking at us from the outside. There's so much lies, and I feel that's dangerous. I know we're trying to get away with, no, we are celebrities and stars, but I generally feel there's a part of the lie because I feel like you have to be able, if you ask me, Abel, how do you make your money in different things? I can kind of write you a blueprint.
Yeah.
Right? I can say, okay, this is how I did it, this is how you did it, what. But there's things where I've seen in the industry where somebody is like, oh, doing this, oh, and they bought this car. I know they've done it. I'm like, guys, I've done the math, there's no blueprint.
Yeah.
And the problem without a blueprint is that people then, you're selling people a fantasy.
Yeah. And
this
then
is
when
why
they get in and they realize, wait.
this is why
Where's
the
my
witch
X5?
doctors in Malawi are getting customers all the time because somebody's just like, but how come this person and not me? And like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, because you are not. And that's, bro, like it's a real story, eh? This stuff. It's a real story. Niggas are flying over and even just going to visit. A hand is coming from Kablonga. She's going to Matero to bath in whatever.
Yeah.
Because she's just like,
all sorts of sorts.
I need to flex on these people. Like, this is what we're dealing with, bro. And I'm just like, because you're selling people lies. You're not selling people a blueprint, an actual thing. If I made it because of someone I know, I better say like, oh, you know what? You know, I had this plan, I had this business, but then I bumped into the right people. And that also does exist.
Better you tell the truth.
Yes. There are those people.
Yeah.
There are those people that show up in your life saying, we can do this. and I'll tell you, I remember even when I met, when I signed with, there was a certain label that I signed this at some point. And there was a lot of offer like on money and different things on the table. But one of the things that I was very careful about, that I wanted to be very careful about, was I wanted to control my own masters, my YouTube page.
Yes.
I also told them, I'm like, listen, if only music that you guys pay for do we have shares in. But so what I would do is I would also go and record my own music on the side, so that I always have a claim, right, to my own stuff, right? And there's a lot of artists who I've realized, because they gave everything over with the idea of this label will take care of us.
Yes.
It will hit them very hard, right? It hit them very hard. Or they found it hard to break away from the umbilical cord. And there's various labels that do that to artists, where they come with the whole, we'll look after you, no, we got you,
we're
we'll
going
do
to pay
the
your
booking,
rent,
we'll do what?
put fuel in your car.
Bro, I've seen just artists just like, now you have no street smart, bro. You have no connections, you haven't made any investments, you don't know any, because you were sold this idea of once we sign you, you're becoming an artist.
Yeah.
And you're selling this young person the idea of the artist, the Zambian artist. And then by the time they realize that like there's a facade, they're hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're damaged. They're discouraged, right? They're not as hot as they thought they. You know what I'm saying? People will forget, or people have just different demands, and I tell people, like, you know, the hard way sometimes in this terrain is the best way. I will tell you, my survival, part of it is also become based on relationships. Yeah. I've built a lot of good relationships with people. You know what I'm saying? There are people who call me because I did some work with them 10 years ago or 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Or I helped out their brother or something. There's always some form of relationship connection. Sometimes a lot of, as you get older, that comes with the bookings.
Yes.
That's how you find a lot of people, they'll stay in the game, right? Because they've built such a network that even if you try to discredit them, someone at the top is like, nah.
They're lying. This guy
you don't know what I owe that. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
It happened. I remember seeing it happened to me years ago when I was there was a bank which wanted to change wanted the theme song, different things like that. When we showed up there we'd even like created theme songs.
Yes.
I spoke. As we just gotten the brief, the Bali who wasn't there, the Bali, him the next day, bro, he had the new song. And that's the song that was picked. I was like,
but how?
This Bali didn't show up to the meeting at the brief. So I realized, he was told before. Yeah. And then somebody told me, like, no, you see, the thing is, the Balis that were telling you guys this thing, those old men in those suits and what?
Yes.
That's their boy. Like, those are his boys when he was younger in the industry. So you're thinking, it's no longer relevant. You know what I'm saying? Or there's no way you can now do like this kind of song that we've done. Bruh, those spook you, bro. Those spook you overnight, just like, okay, respect. They're just like, that's.
No, relationships are very important. Like I even always say, people like to work with people who they already know and people that they like. So even when you're networking and you're given an opportunity, you just have to be good to people, and the bookings are still going to come.
Exactly, man. That's it. Just do what you can. Do it well. Do it well, man. No one can take that away from you.
Nobody. Speaking of international artists, do you think as Zambian music we've made it out there? If not, what do you think we need to do more? Personally, I feel the talent is definitely there. Like that whole issue of quality, whatever, I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah.
For me, I feel the issue is just distribution. As an artist that's actually in the system, what's your take on that? For me, like I'm just like a layman looking from the outside. But for you, that's actually like in there. What do you think are like the obstacles?
Yeah. So my phrase to people has always been like, what is Zambian music? Right? Is Zambian music a certain sound or rhythm that we know, that we feel like, yeah, that reminds me of us, like that's us? Or is Zambian music the music that is made by a Zambian? Because whether we like it or not, to be honest, Zambian music should be the music that is made by a Zambian. If that is the case, then Sampa the Great should be the biggest artist that Zambia has ever had. Right? Right now, Tyler, the Creator, just sampled Pongozi. He's not the only guy who sampled Pongozi. He's not the only guy who sampled Zamrock. So I would say what my view is, and I've said this even into government officials, I always say, look, the reason why I say Zambia is not yet an industry, it's a marketplace, is because, look, every industry is protected. If I come to Zambia and I say Bill Gates and what's his name? Jeff Bezos apparently just found like one of the biggest deposits of, I think it's copper or gold, and they're gonna be mining it. So before they came to invest, they said, okay, look, we're gonna do this thing, this project. We realize there's this mineral, but how are we going to protect this? I'm sure there's agreements, handshakes, they went through, okay, this is how much, okay, this is how much you get to get taxes, okay, good. So we're going to make a profit. There is a known thing of, this is my investment will make a profit like this. Here's the problem. When I go into the studio as an artist, how am I going to make a profit based on my investment?
You always have to think of the ROI.
Exactly. Can I assess, is there numbers, is there structures whereby I can be able to say, if I put in $1 million in my album, let's just say today we say, okay, we're going to take a young Zambian artist and
give
we're going
them
to
$1
$1 million.
Yes.
How are we going to make that $1 million back? That's the thing. So for me, when I tell people, I said, to be honest, usually, like I know people who, like for example, the gold industry or any mineral, the most money people make is when they take it outside. Right? Because outside, people find the value of it to be higher. Or they'll tell you like, oh, okay, yeah, we're looking for this product. So if the world is saying, oh, Zambian music, they're like, we're looking for Zambian music, and what they're looking for is not copper, they're looking for gold. So the gold is Zamrock. So the world is telling you, we want to buy Zamrock.
Yes.
But we are saying, no.
We want this other type of sound.
This is Zambia. This is who we are. No. They're like, yeah, we get it. There's a market for, but like what we're feeling right now, as the buyer, we want to buy Zamrock, the international audience. So until we wrap, but the thing is, we have to work extra harder to make people know that no, copper is really also very nice. So it's what we want and want you to have. So I generally feel like so many times we ignore the gold and we want to sell the copper. And we really want to sell the copper. And we push the copper. And we will sweat for the copper. But it's like, but the world's like, yeah, but the gold, man. This is what's reaching the platform.
Yes.
So this is what, but at the end of the day, what we should be like, you know what? As we're selling the copper, let's also focus on the gold. Because the gold is like, it's still ours. It's our mineral. Or what are you guys looking for? You're looking for Zambian gold? Okay, fine. Let's create a market for that. But what we're refusing is we're refusing to create a market even for the gold. Right? And so at the end of the day, it goes unnoticed. Until it crosses over, then the values, now you're seeing it like, oh Oh, Banda Tyler, they're buying me. Oh, Lauren Hill is taking gold on tour.
Imagine.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, you know, and gold is going on tour and it's going, look, Sampa's been on tour with Billie Eilish.
Yeah, she's done big shows.
And Lauren Hill, who is the queen for me.
The queen of hip hop.
I am like,
And she's everybody's goat.
I
In
think
terms
she's-
of like the females, like Nikki cites her, Sampa herself cites her as an inspiration.
So I'm like, guys, it seems you have something here. But I'm not trying to say like, oh, all of us focus on what. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of young artists who are making gold type music.
Yeah.
But we don't want to recognize them because we're copper focused, right? We are so copper focused. That's like Zambians are like, Zambia's got the purest silver. Where? Because it's almost like there's also a blinding to the knowledge that we have about everything else. I had that experience as well. When I used to make music, Zambians, I was told that Zambians don't like people singing in English.
Oh yeah.
But then I'm like, but these Zambians are singing Westlife.
Exactly.
They're singing Celine
Especially
Dion.
Westlife
They
and Celine
know-
Dion.
They
Oh my
know
goodness.
R. Kelly's songs.
Yeah.
They'll sing Adele's Hello, but you make a song like Hello or
yeah.
just like,
And it's not going to fly.
bruh, no.
That didn't make sense.
So there's...
And how were they watching Prison Break, which is in English? And that's like their favorite series of all time.
Bro. So there's this thing of we want to see it the way we want to see it. And I feel like sometimes it oppresses very good talent, very good different genres of music, which I generally feel like I've seen young artists who bring a fresh new flavor
Yeah.
just get tired. They're like, I'm just tired of trying to impress the Zambian audience.
I've seen that as well, especially when you chew it like
died.
these upcoming artists. You can even see like the fire is gone from their face. They're demoralized.
Bro.
It's so sad to see. And yet
Because-
this person is so talented.
Because now even just like where they're going to, even like where's the market? Like where are you going to take it? Because again, even though I can make music, let's say I've got a voice that is good as Chris Brown, or I can go into the studio and create. He's got a market. He's got a place there selling his music. And then even worse, even here we'll buy him, but you won't buy, right?
Yeah.
So it really, there has to be a sense of patriotism. There has to be a sense of nationalism. I think the moment Zambian music is treated like a very valuable mineral, as the only time we'll see it leave this country, man, in the way that we want it. I know there's certain artists Zambians want, like when those artists get to nominated, like I think Sampa was nominated
Sampa
for
was
BET.
nominated for BET, yeah.
But the day
A favorite gets
nominated, that's when you Zambia, I'm like, Tafika man, guys,
Yeah,
you reached
and yet
a
we've
long
already
time
arrived.
ago. you reached, guys, like,
Is it
you know what I'm
because
saying?
somebody didn't grow up in the hood? Like it's so unfair,
Exactly,
man.
like you
it's not
reached a
fair.
long time ago, like
Because
take-
somebody great didn't grow up in Kawata.
bruh, you've been reaching. You know, there's a band called the Great Witch Band. They're one of the founding fathers of ZAM rock in Zambia. You know, one of them, Uncle Jagger Chanda, is the lead singer.
Oh, the witch, yes.
Man, the Witch tours the world.
Oh, they're still touring.
The
Oh
world.
my goodness, how did I know?
Do you know the world?
Now I'm sucked into the propaganda
You know the world.
of not knowing what these great Zambians are doing.
They are touring the world. They are touring to the point that, you know, when I was there, like, even they said, no, come and join us on a me, I do different. I was like, no, I've already been booked for something. But I was just like, God. They're like, Jack, even just go on their Facebook page.
Yeah.
They're in Canada, they're in China, they're what? But you ask the average Zambian, do you know who the Great Witch Band is? Maybe the Balis will tell you.
Yeah.
Younger, zero. And they'll still say, Zambian music is not good. Zambian music is,
Yeah.
but it's just not the one you want.
It's not the one that
yeah.
we like, or that we
Yeah.
want.
So the day that we hear Dunka,
Dunka has been
they're
nominated
like,
for
I
a
don't
BET.
think, come on, that's it. You know what? It's okay. It's okay, guys. It's all right, man. So even for me, people tell me like, no, Ibo, you should go international. You've got to like. So I'm like, I get what you're trying to say. Like, you know, like if people like really want you to hit. And I'll tell you, the first time when I did extra time,
Yeah.
That is the first time, one of the first times in my life, I realized that, oh, there's a whole different Zambia. Because I will tell you, and then, so extra time and take all of me.
Yeah.
Because before extra time, I had retired. I felt like I'm done.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
done.
Oh, you just didn't
Then
announce. You're just like, I'm done.
Yeah, then the following year, I dropped extra time. That changed. It was like, there's a whole different demographic of people I didn't know. You know
like
what I'm saying?
The music, yes.
When Take All of Me hit, I remember Pompey was telling me, like, say, his worker, his gardener at the time, comes to him and says, Pompey, guys, I'm gonna boy, I want you. Guys, I'm gonna boy, I want you. Abel Chungu. So and Mkani. As I end up at guys. Bro, this is
He's got a bright future.
3
this
albums
kid, you know?
later, bro. Whole albums. I said, this world. So to some people, bro, my music catalog is from extra time going up.
Wow.
Anything else I've ever done before that is
They
like,
don't know. And you know, I was even going to ask to say, yeah, actually, like, you know, like Song of the Year type artists, the track with Your Maps, that was like Song of the Year, even the one with Chanda.
Yeah.
So I was even going to say, like, how does that, like, I think, like what you're saying, when you collaborated with Chanda and Your Maps, that appealed to their demographic. So it's like you brought your audience and then it mashed up with the Your Maps Chanda crowd. As a result, you end up with 50 million views on Try Again, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your reaction to that? Like,
I find that so for me, I'll tell you this. Especially with the Chanda thing.
Yeah.
So also take into account, like, my heart is very evangelical in the sense of I love feeling like sharing the gospel. Like I like the message of, you know, there's grace for anyone, like for the sinner and everybody. With Chanda, I realized there was a demographic of people who've never heard the gospel in their language.
Oh yeah.
In their way, right?
Yeah.
So the collaboration with them, and there's another one which I've done, and which I've been told various times that I would definitely catch flames for it. But
come on, man. I don't know to deep dive into. This is why I don't anymore.
But there's always going to be that battle of that your audience and their audience coming into
clashing.
But I feel like I always say, like, their audience never gets to hear the message the way we hear it in their music.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm listening to a whole Chanda album and I finally hear a voice saying, "Come as you are," like asking me to go to God.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hear it in the rest of the songs. Like, this is that one chance. Like, you finally it's almost like you go to a club and then the club owner gives you a chance to preach the gospel. And like, yeah. And that's happened to me before, where in past, like, I had a friend of mine who owned a bar, and I said, bro, because I'm like, would you allow me just to preach? The people just for 5 minutes. Bro, the prayers that happened in that place after that, it was like very powerful. So for me, I come from like a very evangelical background where I've seen like God's power move in the most odd places. So I've always been like that. I'm just like, guys, this God loves us. Like, I'm a sinner who's just like, guys, there's a Jesus for this side. So I find that sometimes that also rubs off very badly on those who see the gospel.
Purists. Yes.
Who are like, no, you are
this
people
this is
take
not
us
the way you should
seriously.
do it.
Exactly. There's very much in that sense of, no, we are called to this and we're called to that. And I get that. But I always feel like look, we all have different paths, right? There's the fivefold ministry. The evangelist calling is very different from the pastor. The pastor is very focused on the flock. The evangelist is very focused on the what's out there. He's the one who's like, hey, guys, I'm leaving the 99 for the one. It's a statement we say, but the Bible tells us that's the heart of the good shepherd. He's leaving the 99 because they're okay.
Yeah.
Right? They're okay. You're like, no, you are misleading. You guys are going to church on Sunday. You hear the word. Do you even know what the Bible, even if I say turn to 1 John, you
even know what it says already.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're worried about someone who doesn't even know where Leviticus is or Romans has never, you're worried about that person. But that's the majority. That's the average person who has never heard the gospel in its purest form, right? And you're worried about them. And I realized like we've had that attack for years. Like even just when we came on the scene as Slaughterhouse, it was always that. It was always because you had the youth and now people are just like, no, you're misleading the youth. And also you have to understand, with us, we're always told we are an alternative, right? So this is one part I so hate, that the idea that gospel music is the alternative to everything in the world. So when you hear chef rap, you're like, no, we need a Christian rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? So, and I remember like our youth conferences. So our bishops or pastors we were always how do we get the youth? Right? So we're always used as a gimmick or an opportunity to like a hook.
Yeah.
Like, oh, bring your kids to youth. They'll be rappers. They like hip hop. They'll be rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they never even took time to realize that there was an actual message in that guy's song that was resonating. It's just that the rhythm was what the young person was hearing, but the message was what they never changed, right?
Yeah.
Like I would say, like one of the best albums I ever heard that was so powerful, like spiritually, was Rebel by Lecrae.
Yeah.
Like that album, like I can hear Hillsong or whatever, but Rebel, what it did for me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that album made radicals. Like Ons were just like, you know what, if God wants me to die today, I'm dying, bro.
It inspired the whole movement.
Inspired.
I actually even went to the show when they came by your church by Miracle.
Yes. So,
like after that show, I was like, I'm becoming a gospel rapper after this.
I know, right? So like, you need. That's the thing. Like, if sometimes people don't understand it until they hear it in their language, until they hear it in their way that they understand, right? So there's people out there where if you realize that, okay, this Umupondo has become a culture, right? Yeah, Umupondo, shan. So how do you take a message to that guy? How do you take the gospel to that individual in the way that they feel it's for them, right? So not trying to say that you also become Umupondo, you know what I'm saying? But you bring the message to them, bruh. It's even the same way like how missionaries will go and learn our languages.
Exactly.
You live amongst us, and then now all of a sudden this Irish missionary all of a sudden is speaking Bemba.
He's now a Bemba and he's going to become a chief.
You know what I'm saying? We went to go and name a whole city after they were like, you know what? This man was a good man. Let's name a whole city.
Exactly. Actually, I like that whole movement. It's progressive. It's like you're a secret agent of God. That's what I always tell my young pastor friends as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not an easy one. It's not an easy one because you realize that there's a lot of people who really want you to fail, right? And when you do fall, it's almost like, you see, we told you. Like there are so many people who are waiting to say, I told you so. But the thing is, what I always tell people, I say, one example you probably hear me say 1,000 times, I always share people this, is in Matthew chapter 9, there's this, one of my favorite passages is Jesus goes to Matthew's place, who's a tax collector, right? And he says, and at that time he was called Levi, it says, I'm coming to your house. And the Bible says he's at Matthew's place and he's eating and he's reclining, he's chilled, and the sinners are reclining with him and they're enjoying. And it doesn't say he was preaching, it doesn't say he was casting out demons. And it says many of them came. Many tax collectors and sinners came. Now, when the Pharisees saw that, they were like, they started asking the disciples, why does your master eat with tax collectors and sinners?
Yeah.
And funny enough, the disciples didn't even know why. But Jesus responds, he says, go and learn. He says, those who are well have no need of a physician. Like they don't need a doctor. If you're well, you're not going to go to the hospital. He says, but those who are sick. He says, go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. That was such a powerful passage because I always say, that is what we are like Matthew. We're not Jesus, but we know where he is. Right? So what we're just trying to be like, hey, guys, there's an invitation this side. Do you want to come? Right? And sometimes the funny thing, that's why I like that passage, because the disciples were asked, why does he do this? And they didn't have an answer. So sometimes even the people who are inviting you to come and sit with Jesus, they don't really know why, right? The full thing. But they're just like, when you meet him, you'll know why.
Exactly.
And so for us, it's like the reality is real. The testimony is real, right? And the growth might take a while, but the testimony is real. Like the woman at the well who meets Jesus, and he tells her, you've had 7 husbands, and even the one that's Shani, the 6th husband, the one you're with, is not your husband, and he just breaks down. And it says the moment she left, the first thing she did, she went to the city and told people, says, come and meet this one who knows everything about me. Exactly. And everyone. And it says the men and the ones who went first, because I'm sure she had a way. You know what I'm saying? They're probably like, ain't this that? You know what I'm saying? There was that. And they still went, and then they met Jesus, and they took it from there. Now, imagine if people were like, guys, need your you know what I'm saying? And so many times we get scared of those comments, so we want to create ourselves into this, and I get what it means. There is an expectation on reality on people, but we want to be the Jesus. That in between, we want that same power, that respect. So we want to explain why the tax collectors and sinners and whatnot in our own way, but we can never fully explain the depth of the grace of God. People need to experience it for themselves. People need to have a personal relationship with God for themselves. You'll never know why the grace on Abel's life is very different from someone else's life, right? People say, but the career would have finished. But I'm like, what am I still doing? Even sometimes I was like, God, what am I still doing here, right? And that's the thing, is the word of God says it's the grace of God that brings people to repentance. And so that's why when people ask me, but are you doing gospel? I'm like, I don't think I can ever stop. Like, even when I do love songs, like it always comes from a place of understanding from a relationship with God. Yeah. Because I do a lot of weddings sometimes, and I realize people go to the altar and they want their God to bless their relationship and their what. Yeah. But I'm like, so you can't do music that relates about that relationship? Like, everyone wants their relationship to be blessed by God, but you can't make music that relates. About that. So the moment I made extra time, I remember so many churches kind of like cut ties or because I also didn't expect the success of the song. So the problem is when something becomes successful, people generally think that's the direction you're fully going to take. And over the years, I would say like 90% of my bookings are private events, like private, non-Christian related events. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
even as a bus part.
Yeah. So it's that thing where people think you're not getting booked, but you're just doing like private events that you can't even post to say like, yo, this guy invited me for their birthday party or for their wedding.
A lot of weddings, a lot of corporate events, different things. That's why and the thing is, I honestly say I predicted it in 2015. So in 2015, when I won the Zambian Music Awards for everything, I made a very intense speech about saying, if the corporate world and the government don't put a high value on Zambian music, on the Zambian artists, I said, we are going to go through a crisis. And so what I did was, I realized that in as much as I was doing a lot of concerts, because that album, which I dropped in 2014, Worship of the Love Revolution, Love Unleashed, was #1 for 9 months at Sounds. Yeah. That was the longest reign. I think that one and Kaya. I don't know which one was longer, right?
Yeah.
But it's the longest period of any album that stayed. And sounds, we're not talking about like, oh, voting. No, it's literally like
it's
sales,
merit,
right?
Yeah. The numbers
So
not like...
that was like one of the, so it was number one for like 9 solid months. But even during that time, I went through like the biggest depression in my life. And I saw like going from concert to concert, event after event. And I realized at some point, if I started studying the industry and I started realizing this is not an industry, this is a marketplace. So when COVID hit, I will honestly tell you, personally, I didn't feel COVID. Because I had created already a culture of nurturing my private events such that when they said, oh, only gatherings
50
of,
people.
Yeah, people were
Like,
still
they were still
wanting to do
calling
events,
you.
so they were booking. So, and I felt bad because
Yeah.
there were so many artists who were focused on clubs, whatnot, some biggie things, and at the end of the day, people suffered heavily. And at the time, I was also chairman of the board for ZAM Corps.
Yes.
So which was also a very difficult time because we had to find ways that we could help artists. And I'm, to my knowledge, to my record, I think we managed to do the best to that what we could do during that time.
At the time, yes.
We ended up recording a 22% growth increase during that period of time. So because of how we managed it for artists, we realized there were so many artists that were not being helped. Who would say, no, my music would what, but my music is playing here, my music is playing there. But these are not places that register like they're like radio stations. So we created a system that would spread wider in terms of collecting royalties for our members. And I think, man, you'd have people, and I didn't know it meant so much to people, bro. And you had people who were calling man from Porokoso, but someone is in Kasama saying, "Ninguva kuri 500 duko." It's like, bruh, how are you going hitchhiking, bro? Someone hitchhiked from Kasama to Lusaka to come and collect the 500. I said, ha.
Wow.
All because we just said, okay, let's be fair. Everyone needs this.
For the residuals.
It made it less for, of course, because look, a lot of collection would happen from hotels and different things like that. So our previous system was very much based on we would be, oh, this is what the radio stations, these are the stats that the radio stations are. So let's use the same stats everywhere. But I'm like, that's not the same thing. The shop might be into jazz. So they're playing jazz. That place, and that's you know what I'm saying? Those private places play what they want. They're not sometimes aligned to what the radio stations are giving us in terms of information. So that's how we said we're just going to spread all from hotels, plug what to the rest of our members. And I think that really helped. It really helped a lot. Yeah,
I think we have a lot of work to do when it comes to like royalties. Yeah,
we do.
Because I notice even like SA, they've got like these radio monitors where they're able to like track like the number of times that your song has played and on which radio station. So I feel if we had that system here as well, it would be easier even like for the revenue and the streaming.
So the thing is, we do. So we do with it's called Jazzler, which a lot of people use, right? A lot of major radio stations. But then there's a lot of radio stations. You know what they send to ZAM Corps? Written. Like, you know, one of those to my exercise books.
Yes.
And then it's got time slots for the whole month. Probably with outline with a pen, Shan. DJ Shani was Shan. These are the songs he played. He played Shani, Shan. And this is, basically, these are submitted and sent to ZAM Corps. And now someone is going through these books.
It's supposed to be computerized.
Yes. Okay. They played this person at this time. They played this and they played this song. They played it. That's how, bro. So it's not even just, it doesn't just happen like that. It literally is how the system is.
There's a lot of work to be done. Recently, I even saw like a revival in ZAM. What do you think about that? Were you part of the elections? I used to remember.
No.
You are self-made. You're not affiliated.
Look, Benas. Benas. Man. So, okay. How do I best say this?
Yeah.
So I generally felt one thing I'm happy about now is that there's gonna be, I'm hoping there's more unity in the entire system. Because previously, in a few times, those brokenness, there was people that broke away and started their own movements, right, in the background. Those people wanted to create parallel ZAMs or different things like that and whatnot. I've always been for the goal of, guys, that's why I became chairman of ZAM Corps. It was cool. We can get into these groups of, this artist has a movement of other artists and we're saying we're not doing this. But I'll give it. So the first time when I started realizing this was shout out to Njoya T, who was at some point ZAM president, right? He's the one who got me into the whole system. So he created basically kind of like a secretary, which was always there, but he made, at the time I was Lusaka province secretary general, and every time he would need me, I would show up for ZAM. And his vice, I think, was Gloria Kabongo, who ended up becoming my vice when I was chairman of the board for ZAM Corps, right? So with Njoya as well, I started learning a lot about ZAM Corps, because at that time, at first I was just angry with like, no, they're taking our money. So what I started learning was the system. Like, okay, how do you fight using the system? Because when the first time was the Zambian Music Awards, there was I think Makitu, another artist, spoke out.
Yeah,
they said, we're gonna stand against this and whatnot.
I remember that story. Yes.
The first time when I realized, we need to back the systems, our own systems, make them stronger, is when Zambia Breweries called for a meeting. They didn't call for those guys. They called for ZAM.
Association leaders.
Yes. So in the meeting, sitting representing the Zambian music unit was me, Njoya T, Gloria Kawongo, and Mr. Fraser from Amayenge, who was, I think, he was the vice or secretary. Yeah. Gloria was secretary general, Mr. Fraser was vice.
Yes.
So imagine I'm sitting with these guys. Now we're talking to Zambia Breweries, talking on behalf. And you'd have so Joel, bring me along for, you're sitting down with the minister. So we're hearing new artists. What? Then I was like, man, if the artists, we all spoke with one voice.
Yeah. A lot would change.
So much would change.
Yeah.
If we knew that, you know what, let's put pressure on the guy in the system to represent us well, then they would do better. But then if we had these parallels where we're annoyed, we go to somewhere but without structure or paperwork, right? Who's taking accountability? Because at this point, you can say, okay, cool, we had an agreement with the artist. Which artist? Who made you leader? You know what I'm saying? And that's what would happen. There's so many artists who are like, oh no, the artists have spoken. And I remember as ZAM Corps chairman, I remember that that's why even when they were doing that empowerment fund for artists, my conversation with the president was, I told the president, we don't need money. Well, at least I was like, I needed money. But I was like, the president at the time, I said, if you can change policies and laws, it would benefit us all. But then the problem is there's so many artists who are talking and says, no, what we need is cameras. What we need is, we need a studio. We need a shot. So very individual things. And so the guy thinks, I can't show you guys need is money. So money came with no structure. And at the end of the day, we still don't have like proper structure. So I know for the last couple of years, that seat has not been attractive. What I have to ask is, what has made that? You know what I'm saying? What is it about power now that has made it attractive, right? So we have to keep each other accountable in the sense that, okay, you want to be this, all right, cool. How do we hold you accountable? How do we make sure that you are doing what are you standing on? What are you intending to change that we are going, and how are you going to do it, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone can be hyped and be like, oh yeah, I'm voting for this guy because he's such a nice person, or she's such a nice person. Like, yeah, but like, what exactly is their policy? Like, what are they going to do, right? So now I generally feel like it had some of the most, public focused, like the biggest, like it had a lot of, attention. This last election was huge, right? So I generally feel now that it's almost like for the first time, there's been a unified collective of, okay,
for the first
we
time
have
in a
picked,
very
this is
long
our
time.
leader.
Yes.
Because the previous one, I think he did a great job. I think he really tried his best in what he could do. There are times when even him and I would disagree because, I had a bit of different experience and different things. But you know what I'm saying? There's people who gave me a different angle, say, oh, actually he did this and this and this and this. And it's also hard when you're in such a position where there's people who are more famous than you, right? So I'm talking about Massage Musanda, DJ Massage. But coming from an out of town, building his name up to where he is now, I give him juice. So now there's B-Flow. B-Flow is a famous name, and now he's in a popular position. So he's got the likelihood of doing, he's got a lot more people on his side in terms of who are relying on him.
Compared to his predecessors.
Compared to his predecessor. But you have to give, with what the previous guy had, I generally feel like he tried to do his best with what he had, right? I think it's much easier for someone like B-Flow to call people for a meeting, right?
Yeah.
But also, I also never forget who every person before you helped you get there.
Exactly.
I'll give you one key principle that I did when I became ZAM Corp's chairman, is before it, I read minutes to every meeting they had, the boards, for 10 years.
Wow.
So I went 10 years back in reading their meetings, their minutes.
Wow.
So I realized, oh, this is how they came to this decision. That decision I really scrutinized. I realized there was a lot of decisions that came with not enough information. So I decided, okay, my board will be very informative. 2, I realized, okay, there are a few things where maybe people didn't agree on, but then they didn't express. I said, okay, cool. We're going to have to do conflict resolution. We're going to have to move as one. We're going to have to marry the same old board which people are attacking, because half my board was people who had been there before. Half of them were new, right? So I remember the first meeting, bro. Yay! There was fire. There was tension. There was a, the problems that we're facing is because of you guys. Hey! And then there was like, young man, do you think what? So now you're in the middle, like, guys.
It's trying to diffuse the fire.
Let's work we're working together. And then you have to bring clarity. Right, and then of course sometimes I think I literally was the youngest in that room, and I was the chairman. There are times when I had to be like, I am not your young brother or son, I am the chairman, and you had to bring that, like, there had to be that, and at the end of the day, I think those things, how the conflict resolution, with the hard thing, I think, with people who is how do you handle when the negativity kicks in? Because there's gonna be a point where people are where the butterflies, right? Remember how people, like, when Obama became president,
exactly,
like,
everybody,
he's here to save the world. And then at some point it's like, bro,
and then he lost popularity. By 2012,
bro,
the approval ratings were down.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you handle that? If there's certain people who are not ready for those approval ratings, where people are like, how do you? So what I would do for me was, I would take every call. Bro, if it's a call where a guy is come, and I would sit there on the phone, talking, explaining, Shan. Since that, when they went to the AGM, and I chose not to stand, went to the AGM, the entire board got re-elected. Because everyone in my board could explain every policy, everything, because I was so transparent with how I wanted the board to run. It's just that the whole system, it wasn't like a one-man show.
Yes.
Any one of my boards could answer any question we had because we came to every decision as a collective, as a mindset, as people who are working together. So I generally feel like the much as the popularity might be on specific individuals who are the stars or well known,
Yes.
they really need to make everyone in their board as effective as their team. They need to be informative. They need to sit down and share ideas. They need to all agree when they're going together. If they're saying we're going left, they all need to say, okay, cool. Why are we going left? Do you agree? Do I shan? Even if there's disagreements, there has to be votes and everything. Such that by the time reaching, I don't know, we used to have so many extraordinary meetings because if we didn't come to a conclusion, like we're having another meeting, guys, whether we like it or not, let's come to a conclusion.
Extraordinary one.
Yes.
Ish.
So those are things that I feel like you learn, man. You learn, and I feel like I just hope that these guys are able to deliver in that position. Yeah.
I don't know. We definitely wish them the best, man. I hope they deliver because we have all these guys that come through like with all these promises. Even like the TiVo one as well. I really thought like stuff would change, but because he's a very wise man. But I feel maybe it was just like certain obstacles and systems that are put in place that maybe made it hard for
Benas.
For them to thrive.
But if I say the system, bro. I don't know how many times, you create a great idea and they're just like, this is a great idea.
This is going to fly.
And you think that the only thing that's lacking here was a great idea. Like that's what you think. Like the only thing that's lacking. Yay! Then you discover that there's also the people that don't like great ideas. That's like, and then the people are just like, this is it's too much work. Like you're also giving us too much work. Like
still stuck in their own ways.
That's why I say, the thing about leadership, man, you have to have the heart for it. You really have to have the heart for it. Is I need to be able to see people and say, man, I need to be able to take these people from this level to the next. I need to be able to take people to a level that they've never been before. How do I make people experience something that they've never experienced before, right? So even things that they didn't have, you realize, how can I give people something that they didn't even think they needed, right? And then people didn't realize that they needed better sanitation or whatnot. They just said, but this is the way we've done things. No, guys, there's a better way. Exactly. Let me show you. Like, there's that, and that's what leadership really. The problem is there's a lot of people whose idea of leadership is it's always a stepping stone of by now I should be at this. I need to move to the next level, or I need to shock people. Like, what's my next thing? So leadership, they've garnered up enough followers or attention to. Everything is like, oh guys, I'm now in this, or I'm now doing this, right? And so sometimes I feel like you know how to use your people, but what are you doing for them, right? Like, what are you doing for them specifically? How exactly are you helping people move from one level to the next, right? And those that you help, it always comes like with a certain cost.
Yeah. What's the condition?
There's always a condition.
Yeah.
And I've heard of a lot of those things in the background where, I'll help you out with this, but there's this, right? And this is is the question. Yeah. I'm saying things, but I'm not saying this.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I ain't saying that.
Speaking of politics, there's a political move that has got everybody tracking. This is me being the major personality. Yeah. So our president recently relieved Mr. Nkombo of his duties. And this is a man who was like really fighting, during
I'm
the
not
elections.
laughing because I'm like, Benas, why?
Why always be?
I don't know. Oh no, this man, I've never heard of any of those. Yes.
Yeah, and this is a guy who was like fighting and pushing, for these new guys to be in power. Why do you think this happened? What's your take? Do you have like any conspiracy theories? based on the decision that was made?
Man, you know, as somebody who was once in a position of leadership, man,
yeah.
you never really know. Especially, I think, I don't. There's narratives that can be painted, right? I remember there was a time that I had to we had to let go of some people, and the letting go of them, like I remember one person, like he really was sincere in terms of his apology of like, no, I'm really sorry, and that one I really felt like, oh man, but because of policy and principle, like, you know, you have to do something based on principle. The question is, I feel like, what was the principle? Like, what was it that made you let him go? Now, the fact that you don't say it, because the principle has always been, when the president has fired anyone, he never states why.
They don't say.
It's still the same statement. He always says, we have relieved this person. It's just that this person's like, but this is the, you know what I'm saying?
But this is
it's
the
based,
guy.
it's based upon what we know about the guy, like from our perspective. But these guys are like, now it's like, you might have been like, you know, there are times where have you ever been in a situation where, you know, somebody says, hey, Benas, I need this done.
Yes.
And then you know one of your boys who can do it.
Yes.
Right? And then it's like, you know what? My boy, this is his chance. Like, you know, me set him up.
Exactly.
And then just like,
You're
2
not
months
supposed
down
to
the
set him
line,
up. You're not
your
supposed to
client
pick him
is
up
like,
with the-
say, your boy is not performing. He's not, but you're just like, but he's my. Now the day you have to be like, okay, yeah, we gotta let him go. Now I'm not saying that was the case, because I don't know what the full story is, right?
I don't have the full
There's
context.
different narratives, but that's gonna, your part of you is gonna be like, I'm not gonna tell you guys why. Maybe to protect. You're not gonna be like, guys, he was underperforming. He was not. You know what I'm saying? But you're just gonna be like, guys, it reached a point where even I, you know what I'm saying? Because I generally think there might have been a deeper conversation. Because I'll tell you, his reaction even speaks something.
Yeah.
Kwambo's reaction, it didn't come out of anger.
No.
He was like, I'm still behind the president. It's almost like, you know, it's like, to the public, I still have that image that, okay, let's just get hypothetically.
Yes.
Hypothetically. Let's just say hypothetically, there was corruption.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
Hypothetically, yeah.
Right? He would know that if that came out, his name would be dragged.
Yeah.
But then that was protected. And so maybe you're sitting in a meeting with the president, like, bro, Gary, you and I would have been, like, after everything we've been through, bro,
Exactly.
like, these are the receipts these ones have given me. Like, bro, on principle,
I'll have to just put it
I have to let you go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna be what. Now, from my perspective is, Gary would be like, this guy could have dragged my name through the mud, but still allowed me to, where there's still a chance for me to bounce back.
Yeah.
Right? There's still a chance, because there's still that public favor. Because remember, politics still plays like that, right? There's still that public favor. So this firing, I feel like, if he just plays his cards right, I personally believe, next year, man, he could still bounce back. Well, we have reinstated, because nothing was ever
possible.
said.
No, nothing.
There was never at no malice, shots fired. No, he's gone to opposition. You know what I'm saying?
He's immediately joined the other guys.
Exactly.
He's now backing this other person. None of that.
So the wise thing I would definitely say is, hey, man, the public, you can tell the public still likes him. People like, man, why? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's even more questions on the president, like, but why would you? But I generally feel like if it's done right, he's still got the capability to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? into, he might even become minister of something else or different things, right? Because it'd be like there was unsaid stuff out of, I think, respect for each other and principle, and just said like, bro, we can't have you in this. You messed this thing up. And I remember one place where I saw it, like there was one time, man, it was the time that I think Neves Mumba was vice president,
yes,
of thingy, and he made a statement. And I remember even when I was at, I let it, because it was the statement, unfortunately, was so public, like on Congo and different
yes,
things.
I remember that one.
And he said a statement that he should have never made, right? But if you meet Neves Mumba, one of the smartest, I generally feel, if you probably say, he's probably regrets and feels like, man, I messed that one up. I messed that one up, right? Or maybe he has a reason why he felt like, no, but you guys don't know, like what was happening back then.
At the time, yes.
Like then, I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it always comes down to how the leader sees it. That's another thing again. Bruh, you can explain and say, but the decision maker, bruh. You know what I'm saying? It's also very hard, man. Like so. And that was a person, unfortunately, got let go. But look, like the public favor, if Neves Mumba walks into any room, people love him, people respect him,
He
people
still
just
commands
like,
that
hey, you know what I'm
respect from
saying?
the people, yes.
Yeah, whether in churches, whether in politics, when he speaks, even when he posts online, it's almost like, you know, he's that father figure who people like, yeah, he's got wisdom, he's got a good heart. But there's always that thing. So if this thing is not allowed to turn ugly between now, I think there's going to be a point where people can even forget. And I generally think that if there's any hardness, it'll cool down. You know what I'm saying? If there's any like anger, it's like, okay, he's learned his lesson. Do you remember there was a time? Do you remember the time when Given Banda was kicked out of Given Banda, there was a couple of guys who were with sat down and they went the whole journey, bro. And then it's like,
dude.
You know what I'm saying?
We used to brave those nights, like killing mosquitoes in Northern Province.
You know what I'm saying?
How do you fire me now?
That's a perfect example because he never switched, diverted, never like lashed out, never went public, never. You know what I'm saying? Now imagine if at that moment, Given is like, you know what? Oh, this is how you're going to do me? I'm fine. I'm going to MMD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There could have been those opportunities, but there was that. That's one thing I generally feel this is an opportunity where he could really just like, okay, cool, you know what? That's why I said, you know, I'm still with the party. My support is still with the party. Cool, great. Because, you know, in such moments also, there's also people that can come and lie to you. No, you are, they've done you bad. You are the person that he's afraid of you. There's always those kind of things.
If you were to start your own political party, by next year, you can win the presidency.
You know what I'm saying?
Support you, I can be your vice. In fact, I'll get my number.
Yeah, bro. There's always people looking for a payout, bro.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, man, I just feel like this is one of those situations we don't know what happened and we'll probably never know what happened. It's like that elevator fight, bro. We will never know.
We'll never know.
Why Solange hit Jigga. But Solange hit Jigga and we
don't know. To this day, 2025, we're still speculating.
I just hope one of them has Alzheimer's or at the age of, and just starts talking about
Maybe
everything.
Maybe going to come up in the 80s.
Or or the bodyguard comes out with a book. Because he was like, okay, maybe they fire him. And he's just like, you know what? They're all dead now.
That's going to happen to me.
Yo!
I'm going to get sued.
Yo! Have you seen the way Diddy's former bodyguard has been talking? Ah, bro, let me tell you about all the freak offs. Let me tell you who was there.
Oh, the baby oil.
I'm like, that's what we need. That's the only way we'll ever know what really happened. But as for now,
pop up on Vlad TV for 3 hours.
Bro! We will never, as far as we're concerned, we've even forgotten, like, we'll never know. But one day, Benas, one day, somebody will just say, let me tell you.
The way Quincy Jones was doing it before he died
Bro,
in the 80s. It was really, yo, Michael Jackson used to, like, bro.
We needed Quincy, like Quincy. I generally think the doctor went there. They just said, what was that? The one who went to visit Michael Jackson before he passed. They just sent a non-gender say, do your job. This one will talk too much. Quincy, no, bro.
Take this person out.
But yeah, man, it's one of those we'll never know. And I think it's kind of wisdom, and of course, people. Of course, there's always people who demand, especially in public, like, oh no, we demand, we voted for them in whatnot. But he was appointed, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it looks like.
we definitely will see. Earlier in the interview, you talked about how, a great vocalist. Everybody knows, go-to guys. Say Zambian male singers, who are the guys. So for me, I feel like the ladies sing better than the guys, but the guys can also like hold their own. So in Z, we've got guys like Scott. We've got guys like you as well, definitely. Yeah. So who inspired like the singing? Who did you like grow up listening to? Who was your dad playing in the house in your teens? Who were you listening to and going to school?
I'll tell you, it's funny, eh? I was listening to hip hop, bro.
For real?
Bro, like that
West Coast,
New York.
Oh, the New York, the Nas,
Fushnickers,
Mob
like, yes.
Ah.
That's because my elder brother was so much of New York rap. So we lived in New York. So my elder brother would once we get into the car, he'd had all these cassette tapes, which I didn't even know, bruh.
Okay.
Onyx, whatnot, like those are the hip hop, like ODB, what he had. I don't know where he would get them, but he always had stuff.
Wow.
Because he also had cousins in Harlem, so they would hook him up. So I started off as a rapper. And then I think one time my brother used me for a hook. One of my elder brothers used me for a hook, Damien. So he was also one of my inspiration because he was very harsh on me in terms of songwriting. Like he would make me write songs where I could only use a word once in the entire sentence.
So that was actually like teaching me a lot,
very difficult. But he was like, don't repeat any words or whatnot. So at even some point when I got into church and I found, that's why I think I used to never like singing in choirs, because when I look at songs, I'm like, this is the same word over and over with. You're worthy. Exactly. You're worthy, Lord. I'm like, what the heck? So
that's
again,
how
like,
hymns are
because my song, so I had to learn. I'm like, okay, that's also acceptable, sometimes. So, and then there's a guy called Bunty Kirimira, who is probably one of the biggest inspirations, him and my elder brother, because he used to be one of my youth leaders, but he's also a very close friend. His guitar, the way he would sing, he always wrote songs that were so intense. He's never done an album. But when he would sing, you'd want to hear the song again, and you'd feel goosebumps when he sings. So I just said I always wanted that effect. Like when I sing a song live or whatever, I want people to feel the emotion behind it, right? But in terms of people like I listened to, like Brian McKnight was nice. I was privileged to meet him once. I loved Boys to Men. I loved Jagged Edge. Not too much of Drew Hill. I did like Cisco. I know people are like, where the Christian now? I'll be very honest with you. In terms of Christian, I listen to collectives, right? Like I liked like Hillsong's what?
Yeah.
I never liked gospel in the sense of that Southern gospel. Like I was never a fan of I don't like minor chords as much. Like so when people tell me like, oh, Marvin Sapp or this person or Shani, when I listen to their music, it was like even like with my band, I was telling them like find new creative ways to introduce a song. Like, but I don't want to hear those super minor chords that gospel artists like doing. Like when before they start a song, is I'm just like, oh gosh. I'm like, find a nice. So I liked like those riffs which you'd hear like in a early Coldplay songs. You know what I'm saying? That just make you go like, as if the song is taking you on a journey. Yes. So I
appreciate the starts
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of stuff that I like. You know what I'm saying? Like that riff in The Scientist.
Yes.
Like I like music when it gets to that point because it's just like you're about to float. So yeah, like So that for me is my love for music is just like different sounds. I love classical music in the sense of heavy orchestra. One of the artists I really like is NF. I love NF because he is intense. Like he comes with a certain intensity on a song. Like if it starts, like eesh, I think I know NF rap tracks. I know NF tracks. Like if I want to feel a certain way, every song for him is intense, and I'm just like. So even like with my album, like one of the things I wanted to do is like it starts off extremely intense, like the way the statement, the first song. There's a song I recorded called "If I Die, I Die."
Yeah.
So I wanted I like that intensity, heaviness. It's just from different experiences where you hear different people. There's a guy called Leon Bridges who I kind of like now. He's the one, I think his style inspired me to write Imperfect. So I was looking for new sounds and new music. And I went on Twitter, I said, hey guys, anybody with any links to any new music, new sounds? Yeah. And one of the songs was, take me to your river, I wanna go. Then I heard another song, Beyond by him. And that's when I said, you know what, let me try something like this. That's when it came out, that kind of soul, love is a beautiful thing. So so sometimes I'll listen to music and I'll be like, I wanna try that. You know, I listen to a sound, I'm like, oh, I want to try that. I want to try that as well. Yeah. So music is like just various. I can think of various people. Emily Sunday's writing was very nice. The list goes on. You met Emily Sunday when she came, right? I did. You know, funny thing. Then there's people we just respect, like Michael Jackson. You respect Neo's songwriting. When I looked at his.
The songs
bro. You just
Mario, Let Me Love You. Yo.
I tried doing songwriting for people. I don't know if I can really do it. I'll be very honest. Because unless I'm there in the studio recording with you, I did songwriting for some people. Some people executed. Some people I wrote for, and I hated what they came up with. I hated what they did to the song because I'm like,
that's not what I envisioned when I was writing.
Man, I should have done it myself. You know what I'm saying? So writing for other people, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's better to write for yourself because your lyrics are they're deep.
Though I will say, one person I've written for and I felt like she is a girl called Tasha. Tasha Nyambe, that's one person I find I enjoy writing for. So I guess sometimes if I master and figure out your voice and your tones, then I think I can write for you, right? But if you just come and do your own thing, aish, man.
Oh yeah, it's that thing that I've read where, like, say Chris Brown was writing and then had Rihanna in mind. So I think Chris Brown wrote Disturbia for Rihanna. Like you have that thing, so you have to know like the person's style or melody when you're writing for them.
Yes. Yeah. It's like how Ed Sheeran said you wrote Shape of You for Rihanna. Yes. Yeah. And then she did one, and then it's like, fine. What would I do with this song?
Even with the beats, is it Candy Shop was supposed to be for Fat Joe? Scott
really?
Storch. Yes, but then Fat Joe didn't feel the beats. So 50 Cent took it up and it became 50's track.
No way.
Yeah. Imagine.
No way.
It seems it happens a lot. And then now he's not regretting, like, why didn't I jump on that beat?
Do you want to hear an industry secret? You want to hear an industry secret? It's only been between the three of us.
Yeah.
It's only coming out for the first time. The beat for Extra Time. Yeah. Was originally for Hamova.
Oh man. Sorry, Hamsway. No, he'll definitely jump on something else.
Well, the thing is, KB, when he started making it, he had Hamova in mind.
Yeah.
So that's what he says. He had Hamova in mind. But Hamova hadn't recorded anything on it, hadn't put anything on it, whatever. So then we were recording something for something completely different. And yes, it was called, I think, for I Care About Her campaign. So a bunch of us artists all went to KB. So that's the first time I really hung out at KB. First time at a studio. And something made me like, yo man, play me some beats. And for me, bruh, prior to that, I'd never done any dunka or Z bounce kind of feel.
Yeah.
And the first beat he played, I think it was the first beat, was the same extra time. And as he's playing it, I start going, Chikonini extra time, put everything on the line. It's like, bro, he's like, that's. Then because as he's playing, he's like, yeah, I'm over in mind. Da, 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 da. Then I start singing, he's like, he looks at me and goes, bruh, can you record that? I said, give me a day. Give me a day. There was another guy there called Omega Carlos, because we're all part of the same. So I said, dude. It's like, so I didn't know who he is, but I liked his voice. It's like, no, I'm like, yeah, dude, write a verse and then let's do this. Let's meet in about. So it was like maybe like a Tuesday. We said I'll meet on Thursday. Thursday, I'm driving there. I stopped by a car wash. Yeah. And Daxon from Africa meets me. Yes. And I play in the beat and I'm like, yo, dude, listen, I'm going to record this. I start singing it. So when we get to that bridge, Daxon starts going, yes, 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 yes. I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, you should add that under the I am. Yes. I'm like, we good. We get to the studio. I find Carlos didn't show up. And right then and there, that's how I start writing the second verse for the song. Because KB's like, let's finish this song. So I'm like, okay, fine. Yes. While you're working on some of the things that you're adding, I said, I'll start writing the second verse. So that's how I ended up writing the second verse, and I did the whole song by myself, and the track comes out. Wow. Yeah. Hey. And then I had to write Hamova a song. Because somehow, somebody switched.
You got the information, like you
came up to me like,
now.
I said, boy, what you done? I said, bro, I didn't steal his song. KB said he was up for grabs because he said the idea was supposed to be more. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but it's like, how will you owe me a song? So I ended up writing a more of a song for him. So,
no, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But you see, that's different from like some of the things I've heard where people have gone to steal a whole song, bro.
Yeah, including the song, the lyrics, like
everything. I'm like, guys.
And then you see these kids now complaining on social media. No, Abel Chungu stole my song.
Hey, bro. I'm like, who?
How? When?
Yeah, man. That's the secret there, man. It's out. It's out. Vote now. It's buy
24566. Terms and conditions apply.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. Yeah.
Before I let you go, I know you're a big wrestling fan. Just like I am. What's?
Oh my gosh. It's about time.
It's about time.
Let's go. Let's go. Yes.
Just a quick one. I wanted to take one.
Let's go. Come on.
I wanted to take on John Cena's Hilton at Elimination Chamber after being faced since, is it 2004?
Bro.
Yeah.
It was one of the greatest moments of wrestling history.
For real.
I'm a big John Cena fan. I love John Cena. I really do. I generally feel that whole vibe of when he says he actually does what's best for the business. Yeah. Like he makes himself too available sometimes. Like all these losses he was taking from all these youngsters, bruh. Like just generally trying to push. I also felt like for years, I think he's also listens to the fan base. And for years, for years, I think he also lived with that whole thing of where a lot of people felt like, oh no, I didn't progress because John Cena was the face. Yeah. I didn't go there because John. Yeah. And John's always been like, guys, I didn't force anything. Like, I was just a face because like, I didn't win 16 times because like, I was being shoved down people's throats. Yes. But like the merch tells the story as well. Exactly. The merch tells the story, the numbers don't lie. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Roman, bruh, like you couldn't change anything, man. Like there was no way that man was going to lose that belt until you had a proper story.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
That to remove him. So with John, I generally feel like he gave his all. But for me, I always say like one of the hardest moments was I knew something was up when he gave that speech after Royal Rumble. When he's like, all this time I'm doing what's best for business. And he goes, I'm going to go to Elimination Chamber. I'm going to win.
And I'm going to win.
I'm going to roar him. And I'm going to
where he
become
announces-
17 times. I said, guys, I'm like, did you hear that? I'm like,
That's a
there's
statement.
something this man just said.
He's cooking something.
Because before it's always been, goofy.
Goofy, being a clown, being a troll.
I was like, you guys.
He's like, he's now standing on business.
Cena, I'm like, there's something here, guys. Watch out. And true to his word, man, he's going to cause havoc. But the question is he gonna win it? Because that's the thing. I hope he does. I hope he does. And I hope he does, and he just becomes a menace. You know that level of a menace where it's just weaving on.
Like, where he just shows up and everyone is just booing for 10 minutes and he's not saying anything in the ring.
Like he needs to, even with Cody Rhodes, I genuinely feel like even people are saying like he's being protected.
Oh yeah,
because
I've seen those memes where people are saying they're not allowing Cena to kick him on the mic because they know.
Cena cooking you on them. That's Roman Reigns, right?
That's 15 minutes, bro. Like just a cheap corporate John Cena bootleg.
Bro! It's a promo, kid. You gotta learn it. I'm like, John. What he did to The Rock? No, bruh. That's John Cena, bruh. That's Cody Rhodes is big. Like you can even see there's a script. Like, Cena talks, so Cody comes, says something real quick,
and then immediately Cody says something. Cena is leaving and not saying anything.
If Cena actually gets the mic and just decides, let me cook this youngster. Bro, the crowd will switch. I will tell you, the crowd will be like,
They'll start cheering for Cena again.
You roast that youngster, bro. It's not even funny, bro. It's not even funny, man. Oh man. But I like where wrestling is going. I just feel like the women's division. I don't know where the direction is. I don't know what that whole thing of Io Sky winning the belt. I was like, what the heck? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone wanted to see Bianca versus Thing, but I guess they wanted to.
This is Jade.
Maybe they just don't want to make it like. But yeah. Anyway. Triple H. Triple H we trust.
He's cooking. At least it's improved. There was a time it really went downhill and boring, but at least now it's exciting again, you know?
Yeah. Because at some point, I said, okay, you know what, fine, we'll trust you, so there was a time that Rock came back recently, and then he starts talking to Cody like they're cool. I'm like, guys, that's the dude who's trying to get you killed in WrestleMania. How are you? But then all of a sudden it switches into him trying to get Cody on his side, and Kanshi was all playing out for.
It was all playing out for I'm going to take your soul.
But here's the thing, what I think. Sometimes I ask myself whether Rock comes and messes things up, and then they have to fix it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, maybe Rock was like, no, I gotta be the first Netflix show. The people want to see me, so I gotta give this space. I'm gonna give a shout out to. And then it's like, ons who know the storyline are like, bro, what are we gonna do?
What are you doing?
He's busy giving shout outs to Cody. We gotta make a story now out of this, because if you remember last year's WrestleMania, The Rock put himself in that mania.
In the mania.
He was like, no,
Robert.
They want to see me.
This is what they want. This is what they want. Family, bloodline. Like, no, man.
Then the fan base said, excuse me, sir. There's a storyline we've been watching here that we're following. You go back to your movies while we finish our story. This is our story. This is what I feel.
Fairy.
Yes. Rock, man, he didn't see it coming, man. It humbled him. But you see, the thing is, then it birthed the final boss.
Yes.
You check. It birthed
one of the greatest villains in modern history.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's almost like he wants to Black Adam everything, bro. Like, bro, relax.
The landscape of the Marvel universe is about to change.
That man almost Black Adam WrestleMania, bro. Like, I was just like, guy, relax. Eesh. That's how I was afraid this time.
The DC universe, actually.
Yes.
People are going to cook me in the comments for that.
Bro, you don't.
This guy is uncultured.
Bro, there's that clip on it's even on YouTube where that lady she's reporting on something, and she goes, and then she's saying that, then she's talking, and then she goes, like Superman says, with great power comes great responsibility. She's like, excuse me? Man, like, time out. Yeah, man. Question to you, Marvel or DC?
Marvel or DC?
That's my
I'm a Marvel guy.
Marvel.
Though, like for the cartoons, I prefer DC. I like the Justice League cartoons. But then when they like adapted it into like the live action movies, I feel like the execution wasn't that well. But like I prefer Marvel. You?
Okay.
Yeah, a DC guy.
Let's just say let's just say I'm DC. I come at you with Superman, Batman, Flash. Who do you respond with?
Hulk smash.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll also bring in Iron Man and Spider-Man because he's my favorite.
Okay. Yes.
But the DC guys would still probably cook the Marvel.
Batman is Batman, bro. Because even when they do those crossover comics, like they never let Batman lose. There's those anchor things where just like, this is our anchor guy. We can't let this guy go down. Like Marvel would have to take an L for Captain America against Batman, because like Batman has got a bigger persona in terms of what he carries. Yeah.
I know. Even the aura that Batman has is just out of this world.
Up to now, The Dark Knight is still one of the greatest comic book movies ever made.
Yeah.
Bruh. I can watch that thing over.
And at the time, even the Academy never used to acknowledge superhero movies, but they gave Heath Ledger the Best Supporting Actor Oscar.
Bro, I know the dialogue of that movie, bro.
Word for word.
Bar for bar, bro.
I also watch on my YouTube once in a while before going to bed, like Joker scenes.
Bro, the mannerisms, like the things that guy had to come to do. Man, that thing is beautiful. That thing is
I should
beautiful.
probably dress up as him as one of these LS cons one of these days.
Remember when Diddy did it?
Oh, ish.
Okay, aside from everything.
But he
That
actually
was
killed
dope.
the outfit. He killed it.
Everything, bro. He pulled it
It
off.
was so good. They even gave him like a cease and desist to say, no, you're not, like, people think this is like the real thing. And then I think the following year, he dressed up as Batman.
Yes.
Before, he got like.
You got a
arrested and
whole
stuff.
car.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I would do as a billionaire. Like, that's the stuff you do as a billionaire.
Because good cosplay is very expensive.
Bro, my kids got this original Spider-Man mask. I'm thinking of creating a TikTok character called the Black Spider-Man, and complaining about like moving to Zambia and just like you'll see it on TikTok. So if
I don't have any buildings to swing on. After I was like, put the hook on Fendico, I don't know where else I can.
yo, nobody told me about Chibolia, bro. Like, I showed up there and they got my web slingers, bro. They got my cartridges, bro.
Use it to make some drugs.
I'm telling you, bro. Chibolia. I have one of my relatives who's in the police, bro. He's like, bro, we got stoned. Like, they stoned us, bro. Who's that brave, bro? Like, they see a police vehicle.
Yeah, and they start
on
stealing
like
it.
Sat. Like,
Because they've tried to raid that place in the past.
like,
I
you're
remember
not welcome.
2012, there was like a raid that they tried to do, but they cleared, but then eventually after a few months, like everything just goes back in place.
Like, junkies know once they cross into Chibolia, like, there's no touching them. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
It's like in GTA when you've got 5 stars, then just go into maybe Chivolia, then the stars disappear or something.
And now, like, thieves do that, man. They use that line nowadays, like, I ndakudara mchivolia. And once they say that, like, oh, okay.
He's gone.
Your phone is gone. Your phone is gone.
Yeah.
Like, we were playing football. There's a place we play football with me and these guys at East Park, and somebody's phone got stolen. And they'll question the street kids there, like, after about an hour later, like, tamona kuchibori. And when they said that, like, yeah, your phone is
It's gone. It's a wrap.
even when you can track it, you even know it's there, it's active, but it's like, you know what?
You could get another one.
Yeah, bro, it's all good. We are.
Abel Chungu. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
through,
so much,
man.
man. It's been fun, man. I appreciate it.
You
I
definitely
appreciate-
come back, man. There's many other topics I would like us to touch on.
No. Watch out for part 2.
Part 2. Nigerian movie.
Ging.
This has been the 50K podcast with my host, Abel Chungu. We shoot from King Spirit Image Room. Until next time, we out.